I believe he's able to heal, able to save, able to deliver, able to make a way where there is no way, able to move the mountain, able to calm the wind and the waves. He's able. Everybody say he's able. Amen. Organ, say he's able. Good preaching. I have noticed something. I think I get it. Paul's telling Timothy, sometimes it's easier to believe that you can trust God than it is to believe that God has entrusted you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Where Peter went walking on the water and he saw the wind and the waves and he had his eyes on Jesus and he started to sink because he doubted? For a long time, I thought he was doubting Jesus. But then I heard a preacher get up one time and he said, maybe Peter wasn't doubting Jesus as much as he was doubting Peter. It says that he saw the wind, he saw the waves, and he started to doubt. Who did he doubt? Not Jesus. Jesus is doing fine on the water. Jesus probably like skiing, Wouldn't you think so? Probably dropped the rope. And so Paul says, Timothy, you know how God is able and you can trust him to keep what you've committed to him? Paul's talking about his life. He said, look, I don't know if I'll die in prison. I don't know if I'll live to preach more. It doesn't matter because I'm convinced and I trust him. No matter what he does, I trust that he is able. But see, Timothy struggled with timidity. We know because Paul told him just a few verses before this great passage, God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but power and love and a sound mind. In fact, I don't have any of this in my notes, but I'm going to share with you for a moment where Paul says, just listen. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 3, I thank God whom I serve as my ancestors did with a clear conscience. As night and day, I constantly remember you in my prayers, recalling your tears. I long to see you so that I may be filled with joy. I am reminded, Timothy, of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also. His faith was sincere in God. But Paul says it's not enough for you to just believe that God is able. You've got to look at your life and believe that by his strength in you, you're able. No, God is able. He's perfect. I'm not. I'm imperfect. Paul says, here's where it gets tricky, Timothy. Here's where your confidence has to go beyond just trusting that God is able, because you can say that all day long. God is able. I'm putting any responsibility on you. God is able. So I'm going to take a nap. God is able. I may as well not even come to church. But now, if we realize that just like God is able to keep what I have entrusted to him, he expects me by his power to guard what he has entrusted to me. You've always heard in church that you can trust in God. But have you ever heard in church before today that God has entrusted you? Isn't that what it said? Right there in verse 14? Isn't that what Paul told Timothy? And if he told Timothy, What makes you any different? You got the same spirit Timothy had, the same God Timothy had, the same gospel that Timothy believed is working in you. It was working in Lois. It was working in Eunice. It was working in Timothy. It was working in Paul. I'm convinced that He's able. And He wouldn't have put me here if He didn't trust me to accomplish what He intends for me to accomplish. I'm not on this job by accident. I'm not raising these children by happenstance. God has given me something, and now I'm going to guard it.